I'm going to go ahead and put up our mission statement. WCI, we've been around since 1998. We are headquartered here in Dallas. We also have offices in Houston, Philadelphia, and in Vancouver. Many of you have obviously been on some of our webinars in the past. If not, we try to keep them brief. We try to keep them chock full of information. And if you have any questions at the end, please, like I said, add it in the panel or just send us an email. We'll try to take it offline, especially if they're more in technical nature. We like to be able to, understand where your problem is coming from, not necessarily, just a basic answer. We want to be able to give the best input as possible. And with that, I'm going to switch it over to Andrew Kreider, who's going to be giving our demonstration today.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Kreider. I'm with WCI Consulting. What we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and look at how to add multiple data sources for use in the client tools, Webby and Dashboard, that sort of thing, for your end users. So right now what we're looking at is the Information Design Tool. This is an item in 4.0. It's very easy to reach. Start, All Programs, Business Platform, and then it's located in the Client Tools. You'll see here the Information Design Tool. It's an icon very similar to the Universe Design Tool, but this is used for exclusively adding multiple data sources into a universe. So now that we have the Information Design Tool open, this is our final product, what it will look like. You can see that we have .cnx, these are connections to the actual data sources, and .cns, these are connections to the data sources made available in the repository. We also have a .blx, which is the business layer. It's known previously as a universe. And we also have the data federation layer right here. So let's go ahead and start a new webinar from a new dual data source project from scratch. We're going to right-click and click New, Folder, and we're going to name this Webinar New, Finish. This actually creates a folder inside the webinar, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add all the new connections into this one project. So you want to right-click again and click New, and we're going to create a relational connection. We'll call this Connection 1, Next. And so then you see that we have a number of different connection sources. These would be familiar to anyone using a business object project before. We're going to click on Microsoft, and since we're going to be using the sample databases provided with business objects, we're going to create a MS Access 2007 Odbc driver. Now also in here is a SQL Server if you wanted to use NetZia, Oracle, or even Salesforce.com. These are all connections available. So we're going to click on Odbc drivers. Go to Next, use our password, and we're going to choose our data source name. In this case, we're going to use the eFashion. Click on Test Connection. You can see the test is successful, and we're going to finish that up. And as you can see now in this folder, we have a connection 1. Now, since we're using multiple data sources, we're going to go ahead and create another one to the AdventureWorks database, the same way, relationship connection. Click on Microsoft, open up Access 2007, open the Odbc driver. And we're going to choose the club data source. Now, after you create these local connections, you also want to create a connection to your repository. Again, this is very simple. We're going to right-click here and publish connection to a repository. Make sure all your login information is correct. And where you want to put it, right here, we're going to put it in the common connections and finish. As you can see, it was published successfully, and we're going to do the same thing for connection 2. And so now we have 2 different connections that are available for the rest of our project. So now what we want to do is we want to create a data federation layer. This is what it's going to look like right here. This is going to allow us to join the objects into the join tables from both connections into one data federation layer, which will be able to be usable by the information design tool. So we'll click on New, and we'll create a data foundation. We're going to call this webinar. And we're going to see we have 2 choices. We can either do a single source or a multi-source. We're going to choose multi-source. Again, make sure our login information is correct, that you're connected to the right session. And it's going to offer us a number of different options. We're going to put a check mark in the 2 CNS connections that we just created. And now what it's going to ask us to do is if we want to color code the different connections. So for example, for connection 1, I'm going to choose this lovely blue color right here so that I know where these tables are coming from. And then next, and again, I'm going to choose this orange color for connection 2 so I can distinguish between the 2 data sources as I'm building my data federation layer. So now we see that we have 2 connections here. One's blue and one's orange. We're going to open up all the folders, and we can see there's a number of different folders here available. These are tables that are coming from the data source. So we're going to pull over, say, shop facts and Outlook lookup and article lookup. These are 3 tables that go over the eFashion database. In this case, there's shops, articles, which is articles of clothing that is available inside the number of stores, Outlook lookup, which gives us more information on the shop facts, and then shop facts, which is our dimension table. We're then going to open up connection 2, which in this case is the Adventure Works database. We're going to pull a number of tables in from here. We're going to pull city in because we're going to need that to connect the 2 universes together. We're going to do resort, and we're going to do customer and country. Now, it's important when you're connecting 2 databases that you have some similar field that you're going to be able to join on. In this case, there are cities in both the eFashion and the Island Work databases that will allow us to join up so that we can use that data in future reports and dashboards. So now we're going to simply do some simple joins. At the data federation layer, it's very easy. You right-click on the desired field and join it to the desired field. And again, we're going to do that between these 2 right here. Okay? And then what we can also do is that we can also connect between the data warehouses as well. We can go from city here in the Outlook lookup, which is in the eFashion database, to the city field here in the city table in the Adventure Island database. And we're also going to look up all the rest of this right here. So the city is going to come in from connect to region via region ID, country ID to country ID here, and country ID here to resort. And then also we're going to connect city ID to city ID here. We're going to move this so it's a little bit neater. As you can see, the tables are very easy to move around. You just drag and click. And then also, if you look at the tables themselves, it gives you an idea of what the data type is, either varchar or numeric. And then also, if you click on this button right here, it's very similar to the old universe creation, where you can collapse the tables to ease things over. Now, what we can also do is we can define cardinalities between the joins. If you double-click on one of the joins, up pops the dialog, and it shows you what the connection is. The join is here. You can validate the SQL if you need to change the SQL. You can change your join type. You can also choose a cardinality, or as in Universe Designer, you can also detect the cardinality. And so now we know what exactly the cardinality is here. And as you can see now, it's displayed right here. And once we do all of our connections right here, we add all of our tables in, we join all of our tables up, you can tell that our join table here is this city field right here. What we can then do is we can right-click, choose New, and choose a business layer. This is what we're going to use to generate our universes so that Webby and Dashboard Designer can also look at them. So we're going to click Business Layer. We're going to choose a relational data source. We're going to call this the Webinar Universe, actually the Webinar Business Layer. And it's going to ask us to choose a data foundation. In this case, I have the option to choose this webinar DFX. I also have the option to automatically create classes and objects for all connections. I'm going to choose that. I'm going to click Finish. And now we're looking at the Webinar Business Layer. Now, inside this Webinar Business Layer right here, we have a number of different options. We can set query options. For example, if we wanted to limit the size of results set to a certain amount of rows or execution time. Comments for notating your products, as well as custom properties here. And you can add here, and you can add certain objects there as well. Now you can also add a folder, add a dimension, add a measure, or add a filter. So let's go look at the business layer that I have previously built. So here you can see that the two folders contain all the classes in the objects inside them, country IDs and countries. We can also choose to add another folder if we wanted to add specific objects, aggregations, and all that sort of thing that you normally create in the universe layer. And also a great thing about this is that we can also add a query to this, and we can run a query onside the business layer right now to test data. So for example, I want to make sure that I can pull over the city fields from the club database, as well as cities from the eFashion database. And I can preview this data, and it'll give me the associated, these are the values that are available in both databases. We can also add shop name to it as well. The great thing about this is that now you can do some of your data validation before going over to the Webby or dashboard format to show your data. You can also do unions here as well if you want to do combined queries. We can also look at the query properties, whether we want to retrieve duplicate rows, max out the retrieval time, max out the rows retrieved. and also if we need to add certain context or order prompts. We can also view the script that the query is generating, so then we can then test that in SQL Server or your other SQL product. We can also add filters here. So, for example, if we wanted to add a state equal to, and then we can choose a constant list of values, an object, or in this case, we're going to choose list of values. Choose Texas. And then we're going to refresh the data again, and we can see there's only 3 rows. Houston, with the shop name from Houston, and the shop name from Dallas as well. And we can also set up parameters and lists of values. Very simple. If you want to click this new parameter button right here, we can name the prompt as state definition, choose state. You can use interstate, and as you can see, these prompt options are going to build the prompt query that you would use at the universe design layer in 3.2 or 3.1. Data type is string. You can allow multiple values, keep list of values. You can also associate a list of values. In this case, we're going to come into Outlook Lookup and use state. We can also set the default value to, in this case, we'll set it for Texas. This is going to create a parameter that you can then use in your Webby layers. Also, you can choose navigation paths right here, and you can look at where the object lists are coming from and what folder they're located in from column names. We see in the customer database, we see this is coming from the club, the adventure work database. In the customer class, and the customer ID right here is going to go ahead and be our object name as well. Also, at the main business layer, we can also set up the parameters that are available here as well. We can auto-update the query. We can use distinct values for distinct. We can do a number of different functions that you can use right here. We can also do a summary data of what it is. So we see we have 16 folders in here, 95 business items, and 79 business objects. And also how many tables are in our data foundation layer, how many SQL tables, how many joins. Now if we click right here at the bottom, there's these arrow buttons. We click the O button, we can see what the full data federation layer looks like, where our joins are, what's included, and again you can tell by the color coding of the objects what are available. Now once you complete your business layer construction and you're ready to go ahead and export it out so that your users could then use that as a universe in Webby and Dashboard, very simple. We're going to go to Webinar Business Layer right here. We're going to right click on it and we're going to publish. We're going to publish to a repository. And then another useful thing here is that it's going to force us to, by default, to check the integrity of the universe. So we can check a number of things, everything from business layers to the joins. We can either check all or we can uncheck all. We'll go ahead and because of the number of objects in the universe, it's going to take some time. So we're going to choose not to check the integrity at this point. But right now, you can go ahead and check that integrity right there and allow you to see where some of your issues might be. If there's some object definitions that are not correct, you'll know that before going out to exporting it for your users. And then next, we can show where we're going to save it. In this case, we're going to save it to the Webby universes. And then we're going to click Finish. And while we're waiting for that, we're going to go ahead and there you go. So universe published successfully. You show details if there are errors in this case. You'd be able to show the details there. Otherwise, it's going to be in the Universe Webby Universes folder in our Webby. So we're going to open BI Launchpad. Session's expired, so let's go ahead and log back in. And what we'll do is we'll look at a Webby report that was created with the Universe and the business layer that we just used. Again, Web Intelligence is very easy. We're going to go ahead and click Open. We're going to click on Public Folders, Webinars. Now, while this is loading, all right, here we go. So here, this report was created under the assumption that, let's say that you operate a holding company, and you're looking to do some expansion of your e-fashion business, and you want to see where people live, in this case, and what resorts they attend to in your chain to determine if you need to increase the amount of certain merchandise available. So this is sales income for eFashion Source for 2005. We can see that Chicago, Dallas, and Los Angeles, and San Francisco all have residents who have gone to our Adventure Island resorts. We'll just highlight one of these categories right here. So in Dallas, we can see that there's 3 customers right here, that these are the resorts they've gone to. And this is also a breakdown of the eFashion Source sales for 2005. We can see what the total income from those stores are. And then in this chart right here, some things that were out of all the sales that might be ideal for resort goers, what percentage is being located in each store. And then maybe you can also hover over, in this case we're looking at boatwear. In Dallas, sold is $978,000 right there, and loungewear is $1.8 million. And if we go down to Los Angeles, we can see the same thing. There's 3 people. These are the resorts they've gone to. And again, the breakdown of the sales. Now we're also going to look at the design here. We're going to look at it with data. And as we can see here, we can see that there's a number of different items coming from a number of different places. For example, this year right here is coming from the eFashion universe, while this resort is coming from the club database. If we choose data access, we can then edit the query. And while that's loading, so that we can see how that sort of thing, we're going to go look at a dashboard that's doing something very similar. Come here. This is a simple SWF file. And what this is doing is this is showing the breakdown of activities for each one of the 3 resorts that have residents, guests from cities like Chicago and Dallas. So if we click right here, we can choose one of the resorts, in this case Bahamas Beach. Up pops the category of where the percentage of services, this is the total sum of the hotel suite charges for this resort. Bahamas Beach has a majority of hotel suites, activities at $2,400, bungalow at $5,760. And at the bottom, it's telling us what the ideal recommendation for local stores is for this service. In this case, Chanel leotard t-shirt at $118.50, which should be a very nice profit if referred to by the resort. And then we can come here and we can choose French Riviera. And again, our breakdown is broken down here. And again, the maximum value in this pie chart is hotel suites. So again, it's going to recommend the Chanel leotard t-shirt. finally, we're going to come back here to the VI Launchpad, and we're going to look at our filter right here. As you can see, we have the two different databases, both the club, the Adventure Work database, and the eFashion database with their columns and the objects created in those classes. And we can just simply pull, for example, region from the club database, as well as the state from the eFashion database. We have a filter right here that shows us as only limiting it to stores that have them in common. And then we can refresh the data. And this will show us that both data sources are lining up correctly, and they're going to be able to be used in the same report. A couple more seconds here, pulling over a lot of data. And so here we go. So we can see the shop name from the eFashion database, the city, and then the resort, Bahamas Beach, what region the city is in, what region the store is in, what state the store is in. And then we can also use a type here, a text filter. So that's it. For a very simple multi-source structure, information design tool is going to give you the tools that you need to use and that you're familiar with. We use Universe Design to help create multiple data sources for ease of use with your users. We'll go ahead and turn it over for Trent. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us, and have a very nice afternoon.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm going to go ahead and share our email addresses here. Basically, we have run into the 11 o'clock hour, and we don't want to take up too much of your time, so if you have any questions about today's presentation or business intelligence in general, please feel free to email either of us. My email should have come from this invite, or it's up there on the screen. Andrew's email is up there as well. We'd love to talk to you and see if we can help you with any of your business intelligence needs. Thank you, and have a great day.